It's a production company, sister production arm of HollyShorts. So it's very straightforward. So we meet amazing next-gen storytellers, directors with ideas, and it's a label where we produce with them. And literally, we've got a project called Thirst with Stefan DeZille. He comes from the HollyShorts ecosystem. He had a short film that we made with Disney. And it's still streaming on Hulu. It's done very well.
Fantastic.
And we're developing that into a feature. We have a first look deal with Epic Pictures for horror and genre films, micro budget, and anywhere from $1 to $2 million, where we're looking for the next breakout horror film.
This is the Cinematography for Actors podcast.
More than a podcast, Cinematography for Actors is a vibrant community devoted to bridging the gap between talent and crew. Each week, our show offers transparent, insightful conversations with industry leaders. We unveil the magic behind the scenes, from candid discussions about unique filmmaking processes to in-depth technical exploration. Join us in unraveling the intricacies of filmmaking, one episode at a time. It's more than just cameras and lenses. We aim to inspire, educate, and empower as we peel back the curtain on the art of effective storytelling. Now on to the episode.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another CFA podcast episode. And it's always great to be joined on the couch. I'm Indiana Underhill, one of the hosts. Haley is not here today because she just started Groundlings Improv for the first time. She's never done improv, and I'm very proud of her. But I'm joined with an incredible friend and wonderful leader in our industry, especially within film festival world, at the wonderful HollyShorts Film Festival. Now, this is Theo Dumont. Hi, how are you?
Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited.
Love you guys.
Yeah,
Love
you
of course.
too.
Thank you.
So Theo is one of the co-founders of, 3 festivals, but mostly HollyShorts Film Festival is what we're going to be talking about today, as well as a manager at Alta Global Media.
That's right.
Which I would love to dive into a bit on, like, what management means for certain people and roles and things like that. But Theo, I am so excited to have you here. HollyShorts is coming up. We obviously participated with you as the podcast partner last year.
Woohoo!
We loved meeting all the filmmakers. We still have a great relationship with the majority of them and see them often.
Oh, so fun.
Now, HollyShorts.
Yes.
I just want to kind of get into, if people don't know, everyone knows, but if people don't, what is HollyShorts?
Well, HollyShorts is it's emerged as one of the largest short film festivals in the world. We showcase shorts 45 minutes and under, all genres. The main categories are live action, documentary, and animation, and that gives us a variety of different kind of content, from international shorts, web series, romantic comedies, horror, midnight. Now we've launched a sports category.
Yeah.
Congrats. It's super exciting. And then this edition, it's 20 years this August. We have 4 Oscar qualifying categories.
Fantastic.
Which is crazy.
It's
It
amazing.
didn't start that way.
Yeah.
And then we showcase about 430 short films. This year we had about 6,100 submissions, which is nuts.
Yeah.
And it's insane. It's almost like an explosion of content. But the way I like to describe it is there's about 5 screening programs a day at the Chinese Theater, and some other venues this year. You can go into a block of shorts and then you'll be wowed by you're taken to another world, which is amazing. We also show music videos. So everything kind of short form we showcase.
Fantastic. It's so important to give a platform to emerging and wonderful filmmakers, because it's hard. This industry's tough, and to have a reputable film festival that people can apply to, because there's just so many film festivals out there, is fantastic. Now, how do you, we were talking a little bit about this before we started recording, 6,100 submissions.
So many.
What does that process look like?
It's nuts.
It's insane.
Yeah, we start early.
Yeah.
So this edition will be August 8th through 18th. And then literally 2 days after, we start the process again.
Wow.
And we get entries from everywhere. And then, basically we go through several rounds of watching them. We have an international team. Many people, many programmers, screeners.
Yep.
And we go several rounds. So the first round is, seeing what we like, screening. Sometimes they're very bad.
Yeah.
And, through the years, it's improved.
Yeah.
The quality has risen.
Right.
And then I think we do like the Academy. We judge them internally 1 to 10.
Yep.
And then if it's a 10, there's more likely possibilities. It's a stone cold lock is what we call them.
Yes, nice.
And then the problem becomes there's a lot of average films.
Yeah.
And then you have to give a lot of the average ones a second look.
Yeah.
We just try to cast a wide net. And then later, as we get closer, we do another round and we really get into selections. And then it's almost like a giant painting as well. And then sometimes the painting is 75% complete. And then you look where you land and then you evaluate what the content looks like.
Yes.
Also, we're LA, it is a Los Angeles festival. We used to have this problem where the travel thing, not a lot of people like to travel, but as our name rose, people travel in.
For sure.
COVID
we saw
not
that.
counted.
I know, but we saw that last year when we were interviewing filmmakers who had flown in from all over the country. And it's such an incredible place because a lot of the, places people are flying in from don't have the same community LA does. And so to meet everyone together over the course of, a week is insane. Now, workshops and panels are huge for
important.
You guys. And yes, that's exactly what I was going to say. It's so important for a festival, I think, to feel like 360 well-rounded, to have education alongside it because everyone's all together. How long have you been doing the workshop and panels, and what are the focuses this year?
Great question. I think we started very early. This is 20 years, maybe early in the process, maybe by year 5 or year 5, we had Eli Roth come and deliver a speech to the filmmakers.
Yeah.
And he had Inglourious Bastards campaigning. He got it. We gave him an award, and he gave this impassioned speech at the Directors Guild, and people were just like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah,
I'm like, "Oh my goodness!"
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things that was we started this thing so that people can move their careers forward, find reps, find management. That was the whole vision, and it still is now, right? And advance their careers. So we want people to take stuff home, okay, show your short, but then network, talk, and then do things, learn things. And so that became a key part of the kind of DNA of the festival early on, and it continues. And we're still on the cusp. We always want to find the next important topic that's important to them, and the game changes day by day.
Totally.
So we want to keep our kind of teeth sharp for them, and hopefully they can learn something, meet someone, get your film maybe bought, or someone gives you some crowdfunding advice that you didn't know before, and then distribution. And then, that's the other thing. So Daniel and I, who co-founded it, we used to be studio people. Eventually we became studio people. He worked at Lionsgate. I worked at MGM. And so it's family business.
Yes.
And we try to keep that family feeling still.
Love it.
But as we were at those companies, we ran HollyShorts. We would bring some of our friends from those companies to be involved in the festival, in the movie watching part, professionals, and then also speaking. So that continues. So we had Alyssa Fedorov. She's the president of distribution at Neon, right?
Yeah.
So we get her involved. Ryan Leader, he was at Lionsgate originally as well. He's at Neon, right? Our friends at MGM, Stampede Pictures, anytime we do deals in our professional lives, we would apply it to the festival.
Yes.
And I think that's what gave it success. Anyhow, it's a very strange thing where the festival morphs. It has this life, and then also our careers morphed, and then we just we try to level up.
Yeah, that makes sense to me, and get back to that family community, which is what I think HollyShorts, the strength of what I felt last year by being a part of it, professionally and as a filmmaker too, because I had worked there, which was cool, to kind of do the dual thing there.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It's fun.
Yeah,
and
that's important. That's so important,
though,
by the way, to
have
this platform, this amazing platform you've built,
but
also to have your professional acumen be so high. It's you're you have both hats.
I can play both
people don't know.
areas.
Some people just do one thing.
Yes, totally. I get bored. I think you would too if you only had one thing.
You know it.
I think that's why we get along. It's we would both be very bored.
100%.
Now, when you're building a film festival, when you're on Film Freeway and you go to that category that says award qualifying, so Oscar, Academy qualifying, how does that happen for a festival?
It's hard.
Yeah. What?
Oh my goodness.
When people are applying, how does that work? That one has been chosen as Oscar qualifying in certain categories.
It's very strange.
Yeah.
I would say, I'm thinking about my present tasks and goals now.
Right.
And sometimes in my mind, I'm like, oh my goodness, that's so insurmountable.
Yeah.
Getting that status for the festival felt extremely insurmountable at one point, and then we achieved it. It took a lot of work. It's a team effort. That's the other thing with filmmaking.
Yeah.
So, but for a filmmaker, you can basically select just Oscar qualifying festivals.
Yes.
That's okay, there's amazing festivals that are not Oscar qualifying.
Right.
But it's a good thing. I mean, listen, if you win those categories, you can bypass the process of four-walling your film
Right.
and paying for the ads and doing all the rules. It wins, it goes straight to them. It's
Yeah.
not like a joke. Like
Yeah.
it goes to the Academy,
Yes, yeah.
and they give it a very close look. We had
Nice.
9 nominations last edition,
Wow.
knock on wood,
Yes.
because I'm still pinching myself of that process.
Amazing.
It's a lot of work.
I remember the party you held for all those
Hmm.
wonderful like filmmakers that had it, and it was incredible to
Oh, yeah.
see that journey for them from HollyShorts, their film festival journey around it, the promotion and stuff, and then getting to that like pinnacle, you know?
I gotta say something though.
Yeah.
Listen, this is subjective. A
Right.
festival person's subjective. So we make misses sometimes. There could be, and then also just because you don't achieve that, you got to keep going.
It's important.
And then that's why I say come watch. Go to these big festivals: Clermont-Ferrand, HollyShorts, Sundance, Tribeca, even Dances with Films this week. Watch movies.
Yeah.
Watch the programming.
Yeah.
See it, and then you can measure where you stand. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
Yeah.
And then if Oscar qualifying, so sure, but we have we show about 415, 420 films. Just that alumni group every year,
Yep.
that's serious.
Huge.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
a lot of those people go on to do amazing, beautiful work.
Oh yeah. I mean, the best part, I think, the coolest part about you being a co-founder of such a wonderful film festival is that you're right. It's 450 films a year, plus the crew, plus the cast, plus their family. You've created a huge network
So fun.
of talented artists, you know?
Yeah. And we try to keep it humble.
Yeah.
You got to understand, we didn't say we're going to be like this.
Yeah,
When we started, it was just a community.
Yeah.
You know,
what was the first edition like?
It was at the Space Theater, which
Okay.
is on a small street called Heliotrope near Western here in LA. And Daniel's brother was an actor, and he owned the space, and he was doing actor showcases, and we started there. And it was just like, there was a comedy, there was a theater group across the street called Sacred Fools, and they had their game tight.
Oh,
It was
wow.
like, boom, well organized, executing these plays, and we were like, wow, we want to be like that. So we tried to do a festival, and it was successful. The first one was a success. 25 films. It was pre-YouTube. We asked for submissions. We did like a newspaper ad. It was very lo-fi, very analog.
Love this.
Yes.
I love looking back and reflecting on
It
stuff
was
like
crazy.
that because then you're not starting too big, so it grows organically and grows to the capacity that you can actually like work within it and manage it properly, rather than starting too big, fumbling it.
No doubt.
You know?
I got to tell you another key to the success.
Please.
Is the putting a date on something.
Right.
It's very strange. If we started deciding, okay, we did it, it was good. Second week of August is when we will execute. That's your deadline. It's almost like if maybe in filmmaking, if we had deadlines,
Yeah.
you have
Totally.
to execute,
I'm trying to put
so you
deadlines
make it
on
work.
every
Yeah.
film all the time. I'm like, I'm starting to produce films now, and whenever I'm working with directors who are incredibly talented artists but don't have the producer brain sometimes, so they need like a producer with them all the time. I'm like, so what's the deadline for the script? What's the deadline for the deck? When are we going to go out for fundraising? And it's the questions that a lot of people aren't asking themselves.
No doubt.
But a lot of newer filmmakers or emerging filmmakers forget that 95% of what they're doing in film is business first.
You know it.
Then
You have that
5%
mind.
you get to have art. You get to
no
make art.
question.
Yeah.
You have the business mind. And
You got to start thinking in that way, I think.
No
Especially even if you're doing short films, you have to think about it, because the more you propel yourself to make content and tell stories that are authentic, you want to get it out to an audience.
Absolutely.
And so the deadlines help you. So I love
Critical.
That's totally, I totally agree
and
with
then
that.
you have a year to plan it. Listen, it sounds
Yep.
easy, but then it's just like goes back to the art, the painting. You do a little bit here, and then you have a year to, and then eventually it intensifies. The
Yes.
timeline gets quicker, and then
Yeah.
then you execute.
I know. Well, there's one of my favorite, like, I love reading productivity books, and I love reading, like, I don't know if it's self-help, but productivity and business books. And one of them I read like a few months ago that changed my life was The 4-Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss.
Wow.
And
sounds good.
it's amazing. And I have like added so many. The reason CFA is now a 501 is because of that book, because I
Really?
was able to like think in a different way and streamline different things in my
Wow.
life to get more done with Haley, because we're a small team,
Absolutely.
and but one of the things he talks about is if you give yourself if it's one task and you give yourself 2 deadlines, one of them was a 6-month deadline, one was a 2-week deadline, you'll get it done in 2 weeks.
Whoa.
But you'll also get it done in 6 months. So if it's like when you're in high school and you would like do it overnight, the paper that you had 10 months to do.
I was one of those students.
Yeah, I had those moments too. And so it's like, it is the case. It's like, if you put a deadline, you'll get it done, but it'll just be at the capacity at which you are.
That's fascinating.
And I think once you start to approach with that mindset of things, it really changes the game.
Definitely.
Because if you're like, oh, I'm going to finally do my new show reel, and you're like, I'll do it by the end of the month.
Right.
Instead, why not say, I'll do it by next week, and I have a hard deadline. I'm going to I've promised it to somebody, and that's my new deadline. You'll get it done.
No question. Yeah,
right? So it's like, I love that. That is totally a key
to
success. And I love that you didn't even have to read that book.
No, I need it. I'm going to read it anyways, man. That sounds
it's
great.
Really good.
Yeah.
But no, I love it. August. And now it's grown to a place where you're finding a lot of talent for Alta Global Media out of that. So I want to say to filmmakers who are part of HollyShorts or are going to go, or, meet Theo and Daniel and the wonderful team over there, that management with Alta Global Media kind of is full service, because you go with festival strategy, you take them through that. Maybe you can talk more about it than I know, but what does that look like from HollyShorts? You pick a few people every year that you're like, okay, wait, maybe there's something there, we vibe. How does it go from there?
Well, there's a couple hats here.
Yeah. Tell me.
There's the Alta Global Media hat.
Okay.
And that is a management company and marketing and production. Now, you could say HollyShorts is discovery of next generation and emerging talent.
Yeah.
Where Alta Global is, we represent very established people, filmmakers, directors, showrunners, and we consult on films and production companies. And then there is crossovers many times. And there's also another company called 88th Street, and that's our production company. That's the sister production company of HollyShorts. It's been a stealth, not stealth, but it exists.
Yeah.
And it's a production company, sister production arm of HollyShorts. So it's very straightforward. So we meet amazing next-gen storytellers, directors with ideas, and it's a label where we produce with them. And literally, we've got a project called Thirst with Stefan DeZille. He comes from the HollyShorts ecosystem. He had a short film that we made with Disney, and it's still streaming on Hulu. It's done very well.
Fantastic. And
we're developing that into a feature. We have a first look deal with Epic Pictures for horror genre films, micro budget, and anywhere from $1 to $2 million, where we're looking for the next breakout horror film.
Fantastic.
And so it starts with a short film idea, and then these are feature length visions.
Great.
And then I have one right now. Yeah, and so listen, so it's interesting. So we produce with 88th Street, and then we produce with Alta Global.
Yeah.
Alta Global, though, is more established. We work, people like Spike Lee, Roger Ginver Smith, Richard Lawson, Jimmy Jean-Louis, a variety of different cool people, international talent, a lot of international talent with Alta Global.
That's great.
Established. Luca Peros from Money Heist, Julian Pachel, Money Heist, big Netflix.
I liked Money Heist.
Yeah. Actually, Julian's in the spinoff Berlin.
Nice.
And Tamara Tooney, who was I Want to Dance with Somebody, and so it's a little bit more established folks. Adi Hassak, showrunner, series creator, and then sometimes we make stuff with them. Yeah. It's a hybrid firm.
That's very cool. What does it look like to have a manager for a filmmaker when they're like sitting there and they're, director, writer? I don't know how many people you represent in crew wise. Is it directors, DPs, or is it mostly like directors?
Some directors.
Actors.
It's mostly talent. Yeah.
Talent.
Actors,
cool.
Yeah.
Sweet. So what does that look like for people learning about management, maybe from a director side?
Yeah. Well, we help you manage your life.
Okay.
Cool. Where the agent will be focused on job to job. Our philosophy is your career.
Cool.
And we kind of, everybody's different, right? And there's no cookie cutter approach. It's almost like for a director per se, the idea is, where are you in the career? What kind of material do you have currently? How do we take this to the next level? What kind of career do you aspire to be like?
Nice.
We ask our directors, maybe name us 8 to 10 production companies that you dream of working with,
Cool.
especially the next generation
Yeah.
ones, or also auteurs that you really look up to
Mhm.
and you would model your career after.
Yeah.
And then we kind of go backwards,
Very cool.
you know, and then sometimes they have material. The best part, it's a partnership as well.
Right.
You know, they have to have a vision board of what their ecosystem looks like for the career
Totally.
path, established or not established. And then we kind of build the map with them,
Very
you
cool.
know, and then we day to day, you know, we're
Yeah.
chipping away at the goals,
Yeah.
and we execute no matter what happens. You know, okay, let's talk about the current landscape. It's a very challenging environment at the moment.
Scary, right?
A lot of jobs for people.
Totally.
We're hurting. Way less work, way less shows being bought. And then so we have to look at that and find alternative ways to
Yeah.
continue the push, like international. We have a heavy push on international.
Huge, yeah.
Other kind of funding and financing from brands to, you know, other kind of
Yeah.
private wealth,
So managers is like really
everything.
Yeah, and it's all about really connecting people, I would say.
100%.
That's really
Yeah, getting them jobs,
Yeah.
getting them work, but connecting and then being along for the ride, maximizing the opportunity. You
Yeah.
finally get the film. What are we going to do now that we have this film?
Yeah.
Who else do we want to work with? What other big, you know?
Yeah.
And then it's also maximizing. It's almost like this talent manager. You can think about it on the music side, on the sports side.
Mhm.
It's just for film. It's just film and TV. It's just a little bit different,
Yeah.
but just the philosophies are similar.
Yeah. For the 6,100 submissions you have, and obviously you're not watching all of them, you have dozens of people, but what is there a theme HollyShorts has every year based off of kind of what you're looking
Changes.
for?
Changes.
Got
It
okay.
changes.
So what is there an addition
best.
this year? Yeah, the best of the best.
That's the vision. Yeah, we
Cool.
try to, and then it's very strange. I'm gonna have. Sometimes it sounds a little bit abstract.
Okay. That's fine. Yeah.
I'm gonna give you 2 points. One, the approach, and then 2, energy.
Okay.
Right.
Great.
So
Yeah, I get
the
it.
approach is we want the best of the best.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Unique
try to be
vision,
very strict
authentic
there.
storytelling.
Yeah.
Looks good, sounds good, feels good.
And
makes sense.
Daniel doesn't play in this area.
Yeah.
Just
Cool.
know, you know, our cousin can make something, and it's like, sorry.
Sorry, not gonna make it.
Has to be, yeah, mom. Sorry, mom.
Yeah,
Like
we have
gotta
6,100
be-
submissions. It ain't
the
there.
quality,
Yeah.
and then if you start lowering that,
Yeah.
that's when it's in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And so let's start there, and then what happens from there? Then comes the strange magic.
Yeah.
Meaning there's creativity. There's a through line of creativity for some reason, right?
Yeah.
Exhibit A. Like sometimes the international submissions, sometimes it's a country
Yeah.
that has a more dominant situation. Themes develop themselves. One year was Mexico. One year was Spain. One year was the UK. They were kicking the US's butt
Nice.
because, I don't know, subsidies, grants. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then
Okay, we are stoked to shout out our audio sponsor, Deity Microphones. Their S-Mic 2 Pro shotgun mics have impeccable sound clarity, directionality, headphone monitoring, and a user-friendly design. And we're proud to launch our studio with them. Our goal is to bring you educational gems every episode, and with these mics, you can listen to the best quality audio possible wherever you are. To learn more about using Deity mics for your own podcasting, voiceover, or filming needs, go to deitymic.com.
We have some exciting news. CFA has teamed up with We Make Movies to get you a discount on production management services, including access to comprehensive production insurance and workers' comp for your next shoot. Visit wemakemovies.org/insurance and use code CFA23 on your intake form for 10% off your quote.
we caught up. Also the cameras, right?
Right.
Ease of production, story, inspiration. I don't know. Things happen in the world
Totally.
we're not privy to. And then we were just a focus group. We program the best.
Yeah.
I don't know how it happens. It's magic, right?
Yeah.
And then also, so you've got that strange magic thing. And then also there's theme that develops itself. We've changed our programming maybe for the past 10 years where it is by block, right? It's
Yes.
like, okay, we put a label on this and
Yep.
this is this type of theme.
Yes.
Before, right, experimenting. I think about that's why I like music so much, right? It's
Yeah.
like a DJ. Sometimes you just make a blend of one particular thing and it connects with the other one
Yeah.
magically. That happened with us where before putting them in categories, I would just program 12 films, and they're not supposed to have anything to do with each other.
Yeah.
But somehow, magically,
Yeah.
there's people will be like, oh, I get what you're doing there. The theme is this.
Yes.
Because it is this
Right.
painful drug addiction. And I'm
Each
like,
person resonates
really?
with something.
You think that's a theme?
Yeah.
There's no theme to this, but it is.
But it is.
Even movie watching that happens. So we'll screen,
Yeah.
this team watches sometimes 50 films in a sitting, sometimes 80, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot, right?
Yeah.
You're exhausted. But then you're like, oh my goodness, this is the theme of the weekend. We used to get together. It was a family business, right? So
Yeah.
we used to have a barbecue, watch films all day Saturday. We're
Aw.
older now, so it's
Yeah.
harder to do
Yeah.
that. But we'd watch films all day and we're like, this is the theme of the day.
I love that.
You know what? I don't know why, but this is,
It's so
there's something with
fantastic.
content that happens that way.
I love that idea. I love the getting together and having a barbecue and watching it.
So good.
Because it shouldn't be a job, right? It should be like the reason that these filmmakers made this movie is for a purpose, for a reason, for an emotion. And getting together as an audience and wholeheartedly watching it to evaluate it is something really magical about
Super
it.
important.
I
It
love
still
that.
exists. It's just a different version.
Totally.
We do it
Yeah.
still. We speak, we text virtually, but that
Yeah.
is the essence of how
I
it developed.
Well, I like that it started that way.
Oh,
'cause
yeah,
you
yeah.
keep up with it.
No
It's hard to
doubt.
find that
Oh, it's the
later
memory
on.
still.
Yeah.
No, we still love that. And so
Exactly.
we still watch that way. It's just a
Yeah.
little different. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. Now it's a long festival,
10 days.
It's
Woo.
huge.
It's exhausting.
and 500 films, close to 500 films. For people, like, obviously we're past the submission deadline for this year. Next year, people are already going to be applying, I know, because it starts, like you said, immediately. But for those that might want to come this year, how would you plan it out? Like, what is like the ultimate Holly Shorts? Like, do this, schedule it this way, block this many days off. Like, if they can only do a few days, or if they're doing the whole festival,
Scary.
what to
I
expect?
love this. I love this.
Yeah.
This is the strange thing. Opening night is a splashy, big
Yeah.
event, and it'll be even sexier this year because it's our 20th edition, and so
Yeah.
we'll have a nice red
Congrats,
carpet.
that's so cool.
Thank you so much.
2 decades.
Yeah, people are
It's
like, "Were you involved in the beginning?" I'm like, "Yes."
Yes.
But I like that. Maybe
yeah.
it looks.
I don't,
Maybe I look younger. I don't know.
I don't know. You look pretty young, yeah.
No, but there's
Yeah.
like amazing programming
Yeah.
across the board. Like we have our like sci-fi visual effects. I love that night, right? It's like, then there's like horror, then there's like a midnight, like Friday or Saturday. There's just like insane programming the whole time. Then you got like primetime comedy. But then the second week, you can be like, oh, well, maybe it lessens. Sometimes the winner can play like on a Wednesday at 2:00. It's happened before.
Yep.
So people, and the filmmaker would be sitting there and I'm like, oh, he has no idea, or she has no idea.
Yeah.
They're going to be up for a big award.
Mm.
And then it plays and then the room is full. And listen, in the beginning, it was hard to sustain that momentum all week long,
Right,
especially
totally.
people work. Now screenings are full.
Yep.
And then we get a second weekend of action the second week. That Thursday, Friday of the second week is like
love that.
big deal.
Yeah.
And so even like Monday night normally is like our music video night. That's like one of my favorites.
fun.
We get our musicians together and then we learn things,
Yeah.
right? Like last year, things change. Like this is life, right?
Yeah,
Like
of course.
content changes. So I'm watching, we have musician friends who are watching these music videos. You've selected them, but then there's a difference of seeing them on screen. There's something very strange of seeing many videos one after the other.
Yep.
We started realizing that things were unfair, where the content changed, where it used to just be a clip, right? Music video to the song. Then there's stories for like multiple songs. And then it's like, whoa, wait, that's not fair. That's another category. They're like
Right.
movie films.
Right. Like a
Movie
narrative
music.
film
Music.
here.
Yeah. And so
exactly.
we changed the category. There's like two
Oh,
different
cool.
versions of the
Yeah,
music
I guess
video.
you have to, right? 'Cause
Yeah,
you're
it's
sitting there
changed.
like, ooh, it's like, just because it's not dialogue or
It's
things sounded that
different.
way doesn't mean it doesn't categorize as a narrative
Super cool.
film.
I mean, like
Yeah.
Travis Scott's done it. Don Toliver's done it.
Yeah.
Like they make mini
Yeah.
visual albums for multiple songs.
And
It's fascinating.
Pool Party was kind of like that with
Yes,
Brandon.
Brandon Bernath.
We love him.
Yeah,
We love
yeah, he's
him.
fantastic.
Mammoth, because
Oh,
of you guys.
he's fantastic.
We rep him, right?
We represent him. His film would also be in Holly Shorts,
Great.
and he's fantastic. Yeah,
Aw,
super creative.
I know.
Rock star,
Yes.
musician,
From LA.
director
right?
from LA.
Yeah.
Parents are artists.
Cool.
He's like born and bred, and he's
That's
funny.
sick.
He separates
is.
the music thing.
He
He's like,
is.
that's my rock band.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I just like
Genius.
that he looks like he's walked out of Dazed and Confused.
Ah,
It's my
accurate.
favorite thing
Very
in the
ac-
world.
This is really him too. That's
like
a fascinating.
Exactly.
Oh, I love
yeah,
it.
that's the like. It's an authentic aesthetic. He
Oh my!
carries.
He continues
yeah,
it too,
yeah.
but he's very, and he's got the Japanese thing.
I
We have a
know.
Japanese thing too. I don't know. We love
Yeah.
Japan.
Well, we're
We have
meeting
a-
with Virginia.
Oh, yeah,
right?
Virginia
Who
DeWitt,
did-
Carita.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't wait. And that was
Yes.
shot in Japan, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, she
yeah.
speaks Japanese. You got to quiz quiz her on that.
I can't wait.
Oh, she's incredible.
I'll try
she's
with
amazing.
my limited knowledge, but yes, I'll just bring a little top sheet.
Yeah.
No, that's so exciting. Okay, so the best part, I guess, of what you're saying too is if people can only spare a few days because they are working during the week, they have 2 weekend opportunities to come to HollyShorts, and they can get like an entire pass for the festival.
No question. And you can see some cool panels too.
It's affordable right now.
It's affordable, $99 right now. Yeah, all access. Thank you. Yep, it's fantastic, and it's worth it.
And it includes panels and workshops.
Workshops, yeah. And you can, we're at the Japan House, and there's some new surprises coming. Cool. We also have fireside chats, So there's stuff you can watch panels. You can learn about, distribution, finance, and you can watch some cool movies. And then also remember, we've done the job. We've picked, this is the best of the best out of 6,100.
Totally.
So if you're looking to team up with a cool director or
they're there.
You can also, you're asking like, how do you plan it?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to have an app that drops like a week before the festival.
Great.
It gives you the whole program, right? The website, HollyShorts.com, will have the program. But you can do like Coachella, week 1, you're watching the bands you like. And then week 2, if you're a super music person, you've already got your schedule set. Well, you can do that week 1 too. It's just more crowded. Yeah. And then you're attending things that you've programmed. So you can build your own little schedule. You can be like, all right, sci-fi, visual effects, documentary, horror, whatever's your fancy, whatever you like, you could pre-plan it and then just execute based on your schedule. Panels, talks, I want to see this keynote from this finance person.
Great.
You can do it.
I know. But I think also something that's great is because HollyShorts is so renowned going into its 20th year, you have access to filmmakers from all over the world because they are flying in. So if you wanted to crew up with someone that you were inspired by, they're probably at the festival, which is hard sometimes because normally I'll get like, when I have stuff in New York, like little shorts in New York and stuff, I'll get DMs the next day after the screening being like, hey, I saw your work last night, blah, blah, but we haven't been able to connect yet. But HollyShorts, I think, brings in so many people that you're able to connect that night at a party because every night you followed up with a party for the filmmakers. Right? So important.
Yes, we do it.
It is so important. Thank you for saying that. Everyone's terrified of networking. And then they realize that, like, once again, that 95% business is really just about connecting with other people. And so it doesn't have to be a terrifying thing.
Yeah, a little cocktail, a little wine.
It's my favorite part.
Low music. People can talk. Chill. Yeah.
It's true. Now so we did HollyShorts last year with you guys. This year we did Mammoth, which you brought us in for with Tanner, and thank you so much. That was great. What is it like to run 3 different festivals? Wow. So you have like the HollyShorts Comedy Festival, newly named, right?
Yes.
You have HollyShorts, and then you have Mammoth.
Yes, and monthly screenings, and
the monthly screenings.
I consider that a little ecosystem as well.
Let's actually.
And I'm launching another one too. So.
Oh wow! Are we ready to announce it?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's public knowledge. So
What's
HollyShorts London, HollyShorts UK.
Fantastic!
In December.
I did see that. Yeah.
It's going to start small. That's a big territory for us, and then it'll expand.
Totally. That's so exciting. Do you have? Yeah, I'm going to ask you something. We'll edit that out. I'm going to ask something off camera about that because I'm interested in something. I've been looking into dual charity recently with the UK. Anyway, we'll talk. But managing 3 festivals, being involved. Do you notice that obviously the comedy one stands on its own.
Yes.
But between like Mammoth and HollyShorts, do you notice that there's a different way that films are selected because the ethos of those festivals are different? Or how does it kind of like work when managing those types of like submissions or festivals?
Yes, they're different. They're very different, which is actually good, right? I mean,
you want variety.
Mammoth, the vision there was amazing, right? I think Tanner, one of my co-founders there, was inspired. 3 inspirations for him. Number 1, the Mammoth, there was another edition of the Mammoth Festival that existed that does no longer exist. That was one of the first festivals he ever went to. So as a child, that was in his brain, right? Then we traveled the world. He was a client of mine at first. And we did a lot of PR work with him and marketing. And he did a film called 6 Bullets to Hell. And he came to HollyShorts. We did a screening, I think, together. And he was like, this is kind of cool. Yeah. Then we traveled. He executive produced 3 Terrence Malick films at one point. He's a big producer, And so we traveled the world at Berlin, Toronto, Venice. He saw and then one day he's like, we were in Toronto, and he's like, I want to start this festival. Let's do it. And so long story short, I was like, really? Yeah. I was already seasoned. Yeah, I was already seasoned with how exactly. I tell people, don't do it. It's an exhausting commitment. Yeah. And he had a fresh take, fresh energy, and he wanted to build this new ecosystem in this town. So I joined him on this mission in this freezing place.
I know.
And I said, if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be Tanner, Beard, and Tomic Mansouri. And they've brought some energy there. And it requires tenacity.
Yep.
Because also sometimes you maybe that was not my hometown.
Right.
And there's people that live there already. They're like, we don't need another festival, or we have the ski.
Hard,
we have
getting in there.
But these partners were so meticulous in making it and never taking no for an answer.
Fantastic.
And then it takes a while to get a theme in a festival. That one caught its theme, I think, in its third or fourth year. It got hit with COVID.
Yeah.
But you can tell when the sparkle in people's eyes.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, that one has a sales vision for feature films.
I was gonna
we
say.
sell films there.
Yes.
That's different than, HollyShorts. People can acquire shorts sometimes, but there's a lot at stake when, you can get distribution. I think we've got like 16, 17 films have been bought.
I know.
From
I was
Mammoth,
going to say,
something
there
like that.
is like, we were talking at HollyShorts with Rebecca, and she obviously is a festival strategist. And, there's 3 different, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not a founder of 3 festivals. You are, but there's 3 different types of festivals, right? There's like one for the filmmakers, one for the audience, and one for like the buyer and sales side, right?
Sure. I think of it as different. Yes, you're right.
Tell me how you think about it.
I think this is good. No,
learn.
I would say, all right, maybe there's many iterations of this. Let's see. You got it. Market. It involves a market.
Okay.
Then there's some that are like called best of fests.
Right.
So they're just like a showcase of great movies. Then there's different things like the Middlebury New Filmmakers Festival. There's some that discover new talent.
Like Discovery Festivals, Best of Fest,
for sure.
Market Fest.
Yeah, then there's awards.
Yes.
Films that are up for, festivals that have an impact on the Hollywood awards season.
Cool.
Well, this is more like US, right? Telluride, TIFF, Venice is that as well, right?
And
like
Cannes.
Cannes for sure. Cannes is early,
yes.
right? Cannes is like the first start, right? And so it's hard for some of these films to sustain the thing. You got to do another campaign later in the year. But Cannes, 100% awards, that logo is everything. But there's the awards fair, Santa Barbara's, the Palm Springs, right?
Yep.
And then there's Best of Fest, there's the market, the sales, and maybe that's about it. New filmmakers emerging. I think that's most of it.
Cool.
I think that's most of it.
But for festival, like people who want to start festivals or have just started one, what is like, where do they begin? What do they think about?
It's got to be love. You got to love movies.
Yeah.
And it's a life journey. Again, people say, oh my goodness, nothing's just forever, but you have to think of it like that. You have to put your heart and soul in it. Some people have been inspired by HollyShorts, filmmakers, and they've started their own and they've had success. There's several of them.
Wow.
And that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
We try to offer some expertise. Basically, you have to think about some of the things we said, a theme.
Yeah.
What do you want it to be like?
Yeah.
Also, short is one thing, but you can just focus on one particular area. You could make it a horror shorts festival or, you know what I mean? Venue, locations key, and audience. Who do you want to attract? What kind of people do you want to attract? And then how many do you want to show? And how many days? Also my strategy for everything is start small.
Yes.
You don't need to take over the world.
Yep.
Nice and easy. See how the first one goes, and then start you're working on the next one. And then what do you want to do? You want to show quality. Do you want to inspire a community, a city where you're from? Do you want to raise the stakes? And then the other thing is find some good people that have your back. Then you need a team. That team, just like your team,
right.
You're tight and mighty.
Totally.
It needs to be more than one person because there's days it's
God.
a lot to carry. You get tired, and we bounce like a team. We're sports people, so we think of it like sports, and it's like, all right, this is the quarter, this is the second quarter, this is the half. It is collaborative, exactly like filmmaking. And then programming, and then there's the technical side of it, where some things can you need to be needs to look good.
You need to have a good projectionist.
I mean, when we started, we bought a projector. It was tough, man.
You brought your own projector.
We had our screen, and it was in a theater, and it was extremely lo-fi, but the passion was there, and the filmmakers felt it.
You started with, you were saying, like 25 films. What was the second year?
They went up. Then we went bankrupt almost.
Really?
Yeah, because we're learning. We're kids, right? We're naive, super naive.
Yeah.
We went to a place called Cinespace. It was a cool spot in LA.
Cool.
And that's how it was inspired a little bit. honestly, I'm a thief. I just
Yeah.
kind of stole the idea a little
Yeah,
bit
yeah,
and then made it our
whatever.
own. We
Yeah.
remix. You
That's
remix
an
things.
artist, yeah.
Yeah,
As long
there's
as you're
like
making it your own, you're good. Yeah.
we went to a screening and there was a festival and it doesn't exist anymore. And it was a publicist and she had movies and the program was cool and the passion was awesome and there was like some music and the venue was awesome. It was just like, CineSpace. They showed movies and you can eat and order food.
Oh, hell yeah.
So eventually we were like, let's talk to them.
Yeah.
So we went over there and we did the festival there. And I think maybe we had 40 to 50
So
films.
like doubled.
We doubled. And early on, I got someone from MGM to help me on the technical side, and he still helps us now. And
That's
it's
so
20 years,
nice.
19 years later. Yeah. Kevin Anderson. He lives in Austin.
Fantastic.
He's a remote angel, and he's still
love it.
involved with some stuff with us.
Yeah.
But I went to him at MGM. I was like, I need you to help me master these films and exhibit them this way.
Yeah.
And then it was a vibe. How we almost went bankrupt is we spent too much. Like we did a bad negotiation on a deal because we were trying to bet a lot higher than we could afford. And then we were short on the bill, and we
A deal
had to
with
get
what, like the
venue.
party or
Yeah, the venue. Yeah, and so
Hard.
it could have been over then, and it was fantastic. Sweating a lot. Oh, we're
bet,
gonna
I bet.
lose, and then we
Because-
figured it out, and we repaid a loan or something.
Yeah, because if you're building a festival out, you're starting with
Out of pocket.
understanding-
This is bootstrap, by the way.
Yeah, and then you're starting with the submission fees, right? And you're like, okay, I can probably start to understand how big this festival is based off the submission fees,
Sort
and
of.
that, right?
You got to grow it though. That's the thing.
Yeah, I
That's the other
know.
thing. It starts small, and then you gotta get bigger. The festival has to get known.
Yeah.
The good trick I had is I had a publicity hat. That's what I was doing for a
Nice.
living. So I would amplify. I would take what I was doing on the PR side in my day job
Mm-hmm.
with clients. And I'm like, well, let me amplify this on the festival side. And the more you talk about something and the more people talk about something, the bigger it becomes. And the more they come to this is live event business. So if they have a good time, customer service, they're going to go back to their market and talk about you more. So that started happening.
Yes.
I didn't know that would happen.
Right.
We're just like trying to execute a great event for people and being cool with people.
Yeah.
But they started having word of mouth.
Yeah.
And so more people submit.
That's awesome. That's how CFA started. It was like we had no money for marketing. It's all bootstrapped to this day. And so everyone we would meet with, they're like, "Oh, I've heard of you multiple times." And we're like, "Oh, that's amazing." They're like, "Yeah, you have great word of mouth marketing." And we're like,
Yes.
"Okay, good," because we have no money to spend on marketing when we first started. And so it's just like it is really the beauty of it because it also feels organic. In the way
100%.
that happens.
It has to be.
It has to be.
I've tried things. Like I try a lot of different businesses and ideas. So many fail.
I feel you.
But the ones that have success are purely authentic from the heart.
Yes.
Listen, that for me,
Yeah.
I don't know. There's other people that build big multi-million-dollar companies and they get private funding and all this and they work and they employ millions of people and they contribute to society. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Our focus is it's almost like fabric, right? It's like hand curated. And then
know.
because it's love, the customer, the filmmaker feels that, and then the public feels that, and it portrays on screen. It works that way. It sounds
so
crazy,
great.
and but this is our philosophy.
No, it's true.
Because I try to hack it, they sense it right away.
It's
They're like,
so
"This
true.
is hollow. There's no heart here."
Yes, exactly. No, I think that's so important. I am so excited to get you on the couch, Theo. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I can't wait. So August 8th to 18th this year.
Let's go.
20th.
Yes, 20th year.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you
Oh
for
my God,
having
blood,
me.
sweat, and tears for 20 years.
Yes.
And it's only the beginning, really. It's like just keeps growing and growing.
So proud of you too. CFA is
Thank you. We love you guys.
amazing.
We love
and
you. I'm so happy Vika connected us originally.
Oh my goodness, yes.
We just ran into her at Cinegear and she was like, HollyShorts, they love you. You love them. I'm so happy it worked.
This
and we're
is
like,
so
yeah.
good.
So,
yeah, one of the greatest things to happen. And
us
so
too. We
many-
can't wait
here's
to
many
make
more.
it going. Yeah, keep it
100%.
going. Keep it
Let's
going.
go.
Anyway,
Yeah.
thank you guys so much. We'll see you at HollyShorts this year.
Thanks.
And congrats.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Bye, everyone.
Salud.
Join us in bridging the gap between talent and crew. Start by subscribing on your preferred podcast platform, sign up for our newsletter to stay up to date on vendor discounts, community events, and new podcast releases, and educate yourself through our free course releases on YouTube. It all starts at cinematographyforactors.com. And if you like this episode, consider leaving a review to make it easier for other listeners to find us.